Me and my wife bought a rolling road and I've stripped it down and I'm trying to make it work. Before I show you the huge problems I've had this last few months with the rolling road and making it mobile and the little tease at the end of the video, I'm going to show you putting some checker plate on the top, giving it a hard wearing surface that a car can drive across. So this is the top. I want the whole top to look like this, but I haven't ordered the centerpiece yet. I've got just the pieces you see so far. So these will be the bits you drive over when you get onto the rolling road. They're aluminium, they're 4mm thick, and then an extra thickness on top for the checker plate pattern. Now I'm just going to cut those to shape to match the rolling road. I actually managed to get them cut almost to the right size. I've only got to trim a little bit off. Use a file to neaten up the burrs from the grinder, and she's away. So I've got 4 of those to do. You can be driving onto this rolling road from either side, depending on the situation at a car show or whatever it is. I'll probably have a favourite side, but yeah. And then I've got 2 end pieces just to finish it off. So I do eventually want something in the middle as well. I haven't ordered that yet. So get all those centre punched for drilling. And then I get the first 2 bolts on each plate in just to hold them in place before I go ahead and drill the rest of the holes. There's a lot of drilling to do. Right, everybody, you need to know about a kick-ass product. Dormer drill bits. There's nothing quite like them. I just drilled 13 holes and then it snapped, ironically. I'm going through steel this thick without any lubrication. I'm just forcing it through, and the speed at which it cuts keeps it in cold steel, which keeps the drill bit cool. And I snapped it. I took another drill bit which was unnamed and it snapped immediately. Resharpened the dormer drill bit, that's in the drill, and I've done the subsequent 7 holes. I must have had these 15 years probably. They're awesome. The other product you've got to get, folks, if you're drilling holes in steel, is a Drill Doctor. It's fantastic. Awesome product with awesome drills. What's going on with this drill? Yeah, baby. Back to it, like a hot knife through butter again. So these holes I'm going to tap. These holes I'm going to weld a nut on the back because it's not very thick. So in here I've made sure there's at least 9mm of material left to thread into. So the reason for that are twofold. Yeah, nobody cares, mate. Man, he's so rude. You're bolting dissimilar metals together. There is a chance of that bolt coming loose. So one of the things you can do to reduce that chance is to increase the grip length of the bolt, the bit of the bolt that's being stretched. So by drilling the hole too wide a little bit into the rolling road frame, that's meant that the length of the bolt that's being stretched is longer. So I'm welding some nuts on those plates before getting the whole lot painted. And then all that checker plate will be able to be bolted down quite nice and easily without needing a spanner on both sides. Folks, just a little addition to this video. I am rewinding the coil. I've managed to take it apart. This is the first coil I've done. I've taken quite a lot of it off, like 70–80% of it. Did it after the 4th coil, so I had an empty reel and I've back wound it onto there. The insulating paint is still malleable, so it's actually doable, and I'm really quite pleased. I know the length is good because it's exactly right, so I just got to wind it on and I don't have to worry about weighing it. And it is going much better now. You can see it's a nice, neat wind. So I did it. I just couldn't live with it, and I'm really pleased I haven't had to buy new copper yet. If it doesn't go well, I will, but it's going well so far. Cool, huh? Yeah, half an hour later, it's done. It's clamped in there for now, and I'm much, much happier with the state of that coil. It's completely neat. I'm going to put a thermocouple in there, just one, which I connect to a multimeter. So it's going to be a very, I'll check it like almost never, but it'd be nice to have that facility anyway. And then I'll wrap it up. And there we go. The first coil's redone. I've broken the back of this job. We're more than halfway through. So chuffed. Next, you'll see a problem that I've been mulling over for months and months, and finally decided it does need doing. It does need fixing. Next is to strengthen up the rolling road. It wasn't designed to be moved. So I'm going to add some extra strength to it low down, which makes it a very tall beam, if you consider it to be a beam. This will mean when it goes from hogging, where the centre is high and the ends are low, that is in the situation you see now with the wheels in the middle, to sagging, when it's got its legs at its extreme ends, the difference in its shape will be very, very minimal. So I've done an awful lot of calculations over many hours to figure out that adding these steel tubes very low down in the chassis will increase the rigidity of the rolling road by 7 times. So going from full hog to full sag with a car on it, the difference in its shape measured at the centre of the span will be less than 0.5 millimetre, which is really cool. So the bearings are going to be an awful lot happier about going from full hog when it's being transported to full sag when there's a car on it. So the green tubes are old stuff I had off a friend. They're large and very hard to clean. There we go, that took a long time, a lot of leaning on the grinder. And then I bought some other tube for the other side of the rolling road to match, same dimensions. Now I've got to clean up the rolling road because I'm welding again. It looks super quick when you speed it up. Lovely. Got to get them all right. It needs to be nice and parallel so it looks half decent, you know. So it needs to be, that end needs to be brought down after the weld and then tapped in a little bit to get it all straight. And then you can bezel the weld back on there. Lovely. And you can see I've done all of that side of the rolling road now, that is with the old green stuff. I think it was a flagpole. And then this is the new stuff on the other side of the rolling road. Again, get it tacked in. And then I'll weld that all into place because it needs to be very strong, that lot. It is giving it its rigidity, so it needs to be welded beautifully. There you go, they're all in place. Now I go around applying an awful lot of weld. So I do like a quarter ton at a time, I think. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 welds to do, and I'm doing them a quarter at a time, leaving a little bit of time for the heat to soak away. And actually, because there's so much metal around there, the heat did soak away reasonably quickly. Obviously, this is filmed from above. There we go, all done. So that is going to make this rolling road much happier being transported, basically, and set up. Turning it into a mobile machine over a static one set in concrete, I suppose. Using the Artec MiG 180, an absolutely awesome welder. Next is to get some paint on there, because I think at this point I'm done welding the rolling road. Or so I thought. So I've got the ratchet strap brackets to weld, and the bits of stainless I put over the lip to allow the straps to come around, and then those top structural pieces for the checker plate. So at this point I'm cooking on gas, and I started on the 5th coil. I'm winding the 5th coil for the rolling road, and disaster has struck. The bloody spool has fallen apart. So now I'm halfway through this coil, and I've got this tangled mess, and I don't know how now I'm going to support this spool to continue winding the coil. Absolute friggin' nightmare. This was a low point, but I stole a bucket off a local kid. It seems to fit really nicely in there. So yeah, got that in there, and then put some threaded bar through the middle and put some wood screws into the bucket, and actually it has formed the correct shape. You can see it's a little bit loose, the wire now, because it's got more room, but it did end up working. It did pull off that reel okay, and I was able to continue winding the coils. What a nightmare. With that crisis averted, there's one more problem to fix, which really has been here since me and my brother went to pick up this rolling road, but we were not really able to do much about it. When I got there with the trailer to collect this rolling road, we just had to guess its position on the trailer. And actually, as it transpires, we got it within 10 centimetres. But it did result in the front of the trailer being too heavy. So there's about 200 kilos, maybe a bit more than 200 kilos on the tow hitch. Now, the Discovery pulled that no problems. You wouldn't have known anything about it, actually. And it was very stable because of all that nose weight. But 200 kilos is too much. As I'm at this point, it makes sense to get this exactly right. I can start doing some mass balance calculations, essentially to find out where the centre of mass of the rolling road is. You can see I'm moving it back 95 millimeters. So here we are, for the last time in my ownership, the rolling road and the trailer are separate. Now I have to move these mounts I made, but actually it turns out I can just re-drill them. So now I can refit the drawbar and mark out where those new holes contact the drawbar, so I can drill new holes in the drawbar as well. Spent the whole day moving the rolling road back 95 millimeters. I think it's good because it's important to get this groundwork done. I would hate to try and do that when it's all loaded up with 2 tons of kit. And this is the last little job before I get to the next video, which is going to be pretty cool. Right, between coil winding, I need to get these bearings cleaned up. So if you remember, I'm replacing the internals of these bearings at great cost. They're split roller bearings, £2,500 it cost. But the outer casings, they need cleaning up. And actually there is a reasonable amount of paint on them, so I left them. I didn't respray them or anything like that. They're in pretty good shape. Once they are cleaned up, you'll see they look quite presentable. Look at those shiny things. Next, a little teaser of the next video. It's a little bit sad, and it's becoming a bit of a habit on these larger projects, but I love it. Thanks for watching, folks. Tune in again.